Moshe Rabbeinu in the Mishnah Torah describes part of the history, the major events, and gives Musar to Klal Yisrael for certain mistakes that they made over the course of their time in the Midbar. And one of those episodes that Moshe Rabbeinu highlights is the Chet of the Meraglim. But the psukim are important to read and to understand. And you all came to me, and you said, Nishlcha Hashem lefanenu, send people in front of us. V'yachperu lanu haaretz, let's scout out the land. V'yashivu sanu davar, and they will return to us with a report. Es haderech asher na'aleh, which way we should go, which approach we should take from the north, from the south, from the east. Doesn't matter, wherever it is, what's the best way to attack? V'esharim asher navol yana, which cities to come to first? V'yitav b'nei hadavar, and it was good in my eyes. And I sent one person per tribe. And Rashi comments about it was in a big jumble. What does that mean? It was a big jumble. It was pushing, they were shoving. The younger people weren't showing respect to the older people, pushing them out of the way, trying to get closer, trying to say, Moshe, we have to do this. As it is, the Chet Meraglim is a very difficult sin to understand, a difficult episode in the life and the history of Klal Yisrael. But this report seems to be a bit different than the one that we have in Parshas Shlach. In Parshas Shlach, here Moshe Rabbeinu says, "Vayitav b'nei davar," was good in my eyes. But in Parshas Shlach, it's Shlach lecha Hashem Yasuras Eretz Canaan, Shlach lecha l'daitcha. It says, whatever you want. Ani eini mitzaveh lecha. I'm not telling you what to do. If you want to, you can send them. But if it was Be'er Buvia, if it was the way it was presented here, why exactly did Moshe Rabbeinu even agree? And it seems to be that the idea that the Torah is relating, that Moshe Rabbeinu is describing, is that you need to be very careful the way something starts. The idea of sending the Meraglim fundamentally was a good one. It was a good one. They're going to do it in the future when Yehoshua has to scout out the land. It's a normal part of the process of conquering the land. It's a hishtadlus. And Moshe Rabbeinu was ready to agree. The only thing that led to the Chet was that you came Be'er Buvia. The idea was a good idea. But when you come with such excitement and Yiladim Dochfim, and the children are pushing the elders and you're not showing respect, that is when you have a problem. And that is what led to mistake. And that's what Moshe Rabbeinu was reflecting here. Moshe Rabbeinu knew it was a good idea. Moshe Rabbeinu understood that there was no fundamental problem. But what he's pointing out now is the reason that it went awry, and the reason that it didn't go was because they came Be'er Buvia. Rabbi Yerucham, the Mir Mashgiach, explains that so often when a Chet happens, when we make a mistake, the cause of the Chet is so much prior to the Chet itself. It's the setup for it. It's the mindset that we have going in. And sometimes when you want to do something so desperately, when you have a strong hislavas and excitement, this has to be done, that's when you have to think twice. That's when sometimes the Yetzer Hara is trying to push you in a certain direction, and you may have the best intentions, but you have to start on a strong basis. And that Moshe Rabbeinu was highlighting was the issue with the Meraglim. You came, I didn't have to do it. I thought it was a good idea, and I understand that. But the reason that it ended up turning to the Chet of the Mei HaMeriva was that you came Be'er Buvia. You came Be'er Buvia. And that's the part of the Chet which is most necessary to fix and to correct in the long term. So much so, the story is told that when Reb Chaim Volozhiner wanted to start yeshiva in Volozhin, he came to the Gra and asked the Gra about starting the yeshiva. And the Gra told him not to start the yeshiva. He was a little confused, and he came back a little bit while later, and he asked again, and the Gra gave him his bracha and told him he should do it. He said, I don't understand, what's the difference? So the first time he came, it was with such excitement. You can't build something on excitement. Yes, it's part of the recipe. When you're excited, you have to then use that energy. But if that energy is the only thing that's fueling, then you have to be careful. You have to make sure that things are thought out, that things are done in the right way. And that is what Moshe Rabbeinu was telling Klal Yisrael here. You could have very, very good ideas and try to do good things, but you cannot push aside certain basics. You have to make sure that your excitement for it doesn't override that which needs to be done. And then hopefully when you use that excitement, but also pause and make sure that it's channeled properly with respect, understanding that it's part of a larger part of our Avodas Hashem, that's when we can have Hatzlacha.